Fredrick Jannetty is an American professional wrestler, best known for his time in the World Wrestling Federation as part of tag team The Rockers with partner Shawn Michaels, and later as a singles competitor. While in the WWF, he became a one-time Intercontinental Champion and a one-time Tag Team Champion with the 1-2-3 Kid, and headlined Survivor Series 1989. With Michaels, the Rockers became two-time World Tag Team Champions in the American Wrestling Association. Early life, Jannetty was an amateur wrestler in the state of Georgia, qualifying for the state championship tournament his last 3 years of high school. He also boxed while in high school, and won many Golden Gloves events. After high school, Jannetty went on to wrestle at Chattahoochee Valley Community College in Alabama, where he was a two-time NJCAA qualifier. He then went on to Auburn University, where he was going to wrestle, but was informed upon being accepted that Auburn would be dropping their wrestling program. Jannetty then thought about trying football, but was instead coaxed into trying professional wrestling by Henri Cataldi, who trained him. Professional wrestling career = National Wrestling Alliance = Jannetty began his wrestling career in the National Wrestling Alliance in April 1984, wrestling in their Kansas City territory. He wrestled in singles and tag team competition with various partners, including Bulldog Bob Brown and Dave Peterson, and with Tommy Rogers as the Uptown Boys, until joining forces with fellow rookie Shawn Michaels in late 1985. The two teamed as the Midnight Rockers and quickly won the Central States Tag Team Championship from the Baton Twins. In the summer of 1985, he wrestled his first Japanese tour for All Japan Pro Wrestling, where his biggest match there was a loss to Tiger Mask 2 on September 5. Jannetty would also wrestle Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship during his time in Kansas City. American Wrestling Association = In 1986, the duo left the NWA for the American Wrestling Association. In the AWA, Jannetty and Michaels quickly built a reputation as a talent tag team, performing many acrobatic moves in tandem and electrifying crowds with their athleticism. The two won the World Tag Team Championship twice, first defeating Buddy Rose and Doug Summers and then Original Midnight Express for their second and final reign. They also won the Southern Tag Team Championship twice after defeating the Rock and Roller PMs on two separate occasions before jumping to the World Wrestling Federation in 1988. World Wrestling Federation = Now called simply the Rockers, Jannetty and Michaels' popularity carried over from their stint in the AWA, and the team was often called Tag Team Specialists by commentator Gorilla Monsoon. They made their WWF debut at a television taping on June 18, 1988, and they faced tag teams such as Demolition, the Hart Foundation, and the Brainbusters for the rest of 1989. Despite their previous success, the Rockers never officially won the Tag Team Championship during their 3-year run together in the WWF. In October 1990, the Rockers were scheduled to win the titles from the Hart Foundation due to Jim Neidhart, one half of the championship team, being in the process of negotiating his release from the company. The match was taped with the Rockers fairly winning the belts, but soon after, Neidhart came to a stopgap agreement with management and was rehired. The belts were returned to the Harts a week later, while the change was never broadcast or even acknowledged on television. When news spread, WWF explained that the original result was void due to a collapsed turnbuckle in the ring during the bout. Charles Austin controversy: In a Rockers tag team match at the USF Sundome in December 1990, Jannetty executed his Rocker Dropper finishing move on jobber Charles Austin, who had been teaming with Lanny Poffo. Austin's neck was instantly broken as a result of tucking his head during the move, rather than pancaking flat on the mat. Austin was severely injured and sued Jannetty, Michaels, and Titan Sports. When the case finally came to court in early 1994, Charles Austin was awarded $26.7 million. And of the Rockers and departure, in a 1991 angle, Michaels was accidentally kicked in the face during a maneuver initiated by Jannetty on one of the Nasty Boys, which clipped Shawn in the face and resulted in an elimination at Survivor Series in Detroit, Michigan. Michaels got up after being pinned and began screaming at Jannetty, blaming him for being eliminated. Attempting to help settle their differences, Brutus Beefcake invited both on his interview segment The Barber Shop. Michaels and Jannetty appeared to reconcile, but then Michaels hit Jannetty with sweet chin music and then threw him through the set's plate glass window. Jannetty was initially meant to work the injury, thus missing the opportunity to win the vacant WWF Championship at the 1992 Royal Rumble, before returning to start a feud which would culminate at WrestleMania 8. However, 6 months of house arrest after attacking a police officer would prevent this, and Jannetty was released from the company in March 1992. United States Wrestling Association after leaving the WWF, Jannetty joined the USWA and turned heel. During his stay, he was managed by Burt Prentice and feuded with Jerry Lawler. Returned to the WWF. Jannetty returned on October 12, 1992 at a TV taping in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan from the crowd, attempting to strike Michaels with his mirror, but inadvertently hitting Sherry when Michaels pulled her in front. He would go on to challenge Michaels to a match at the 1993 Royal Rumble. Jannetty lost after interference by sensational Sherry backfired. It was planned for the two to continue their feud, but Jannetty was released again after rumors circulated stating that he had been under the influence of alcohol or other drugs during the match, leading to its comparably low quality. Jannetty to this day denies having been intoxicated at the event, but explains having been rather tired because of lack of sleep, and that the rumor had been started by Shawn Michaels. Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion, Jannetty returned once again in May 1993, challenging Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship after appearing out of the crowd on Monday Night Raw when Michaels was being interviewed by Vince McMahon and telling the audience that he would defend his title against anyone at any time. Though Michaels initially tried to back out of fighting Jannetty, he would eventually put his title on the line against his former partner. Jannetty won the title that night, thanks to Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig preventing Michaels from heading to the locker room where he would be counted out but keep his title. He lost it back to Michaels just a few weeks later due to interference from Michaels' bodyguard Diesel. According to Jannetty, it was Curt Hennig who brought him back to the WWF. Hennig, who was on good terms with Vince McMahon, convinced him that the bad performance at the Royal Rumble was indeed Shawn Michaels' fault. Jannetty believes that consequently his own title win was meant as punishment for Shawn Michaels for lying. Throughout June 1993, Jannetty feuded with Doink the Clown, eventually winning the program with a final best-of-3 falls match on the June 21, 1993 edition of Monday Night Raw where Doink almost won the match 2-1 after Illusion Doink interfered in the match. However, Randy Savage attacked the first Doink and revealed the second to the referee, making Jannetty win by reverse decision. Jannetty then formed a tag team with the 1-2-3 Kid, with the two being the winners and survivors of their match at Survivor Series. Jannetty won the Tag Team Championship with the 1-2-3 Kid from the Quebecers on the January 10 episode of Monday Night Raw. However, they lost the titles back to the Quebecers 7 days later at Madison Square Garden at a non-televised event when 1-2-3 Kid was pinned following an assisted senton. A clip of the finish of the match aired on the 1994 Royal Rumble video. In the lead-up to WrestleMania X, the court case brought forward by Charles Austin was heard. While neither the WWF or Jannetty admitted that it was the outcome of this case which resulted in Jannetty's sudden disappearance from the promotion, it has never been denied either. Jannetty then vanished from the mainstream wrestling scene until early 1995 when he made several appearances in Extreme Championship Wrestling. Extreme Championship Wrestling After leaving WWF, Jannetty debuted for ECW on February 25 at the ECW PPV Return of the Funker where he faced the ECW World Heavyweight Champion Shane Douglas in a losing effort. A few months later on April 28 Jannetty defeated Jim Neidhart and the next night he defeated Shane Douglas. On May 13 Jannetty challenged Eddie Guerrero for the ECW World Television Championship but failed to win the title. On July 20 Jannetty defeated Bull Payne. The next night on July 21, Jannetty defeated the Terrorist. On July 22 Jannetty challenged the Sandman for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. On July 28, Jannetty faced Jim Neidhart with a match ending in a double disqualification. This turned out to be Jannetty's final match in ECW as he left for the WWF again. Second return to the WWF. Later that year, just months after Michaels made a shocking face turn that got him over, Jannetty returned to the WWF in September 1995. He continued to wrestle as a face, despite bad blood between him and Michaels that had carried over in the storylines. Jannetty teamed with Razor Ramon during November and December in a feud with Psycho Sid and the now-heel 1-2-3 Kid. Following this, Jannetty turned heel in February 1996 by joining Leif Cassidy to form the New Rockers. However, the New Rockers were unsuccessful in their attempts to win the Tag Team Championship. Jannetty interfered unsuccessfully in a singles match between Michaels and Cassidy that March, then faced Michaels in a non-title match that July, with Michaels emerging victorious. Jannetty left the WWF following Survivor Series after asking for his release, as he was unhappy with the team's lack of success and management's refusal to split them up. Poster Euro WWF. After his run with the World Wrestling Federation, Jannetty joined the New York-based independent promotion Ultimate Championship Wrestling in 1997 along with other WWF alumni. He resurfaced in World Championship Wrestling in January 1998, where he competed in its cruiserweight division before being released in March 1999 by Eric Bischoff, while Jannetty was recovering from a shoulder injury he suffered during a match with Conan on the August 31, 1998 edition of Monday Nitro. After wrestling one match in Extreme Championship Wrestling in 2000, Jannetty resumed working in independent promotions, including a stint in Jimmy Hart's XWF promotion. Third return to WWE. On the March 14 episode of Raw, Jannetty returned for a one-time-only reunion with his former tag team partner Shawn Michaels, once again billed as the Rockers and performing their traditional entrance with their original music, against Lara copyright assistance. Jannetty scored the win for his team after he used his signature Rocker Dropper. This was preparation for Jannetty's match with Kurt Angle on that week's SmackDown. As Angle had challenged Jannetty prior to his WrestleMania 21 match with Shawn Michaels. Angle claimed that since Jannetty had taught Michaels everything he knows while part of the Rockers, he could teach Michaels how to tap out by forcing Jannetty to submit on SmackDown. Angle made good on his promise and forced Jannetty to submit to his ankle lock, but only after a nearly 20-minute match and an impressive showing for Jannetty which saw him nearly pin the Olympic champion. WWE soon signed him to a new contract, but due to a domestic incident, he was arrested and unable to meet the commitments of his WWE contract, leading to his release on July 6. On the February 20 episode of Raw, Shawn Michaels was pitted against 4 of the 5 members of the Spirit Squad in their in-ring debut. After he had used Sweet Chin music, Michaels was attacked by all 5 members until an unknown man came storming into the ring to defend Michaels. During the melee, it was revealed that it was Marty Jannetty coming to defend his former tag team partner. Later on Raw, Vince McMahon came out to mention that he would offer Jannetty a full-time contract. McMahon added a stipulation, however, as Jannetty had to join Mr. McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club the following week on Raw. Jannetty refused, and McMahon instead offered Jannetty the possibility of breaking Chris Masters' signature submission hold, the Master Lock. Jannetty appeared to almost break the hold, but Mr. McMahon hit Jannetty with a low blow. Unable to break it, he was only released from the hold when Michaels ran in to save him. Shortly after Michaels had saved Jannetty, Shane McMahon ran in the ring with a steel chair and knocked out Michaels. The former Rockers were supposed to continue a program with the McMahons, but Jannetty was absent from the next episode of Raw and instead Triple H and Shawn Michaels reunited as D-Generation X. On March 3, WWE announced that it had severed all professional ties with Jannetty without further explanation. On September 15, it was announced on WWE.com that Jannetty had signed a new contract and would be returning as a veteran to work with younger talent. WWE.com also stated that Jannetty, along with Brad Armstrong and Rodney Mack, could also be granted a full-time contract pending the success of this initial venture. However, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter, Jannetty was rumored to have been released yet again on September 29. Jannetty himself countered this rumor on his MySpace page, stating it was untrue. The January 2007 issue of WWE magazine, however, stated that Jannetty had indeed been fired. On December 22, Jannetty replied through his MySpace website, stating that it was the Boogeyman who had been fired and not returned WWE's phone calls, and insisted that the article in WWE magazine was false. In a blog on his website, Jim Ross stated that Marty Jannetty was no longer with WWE on December 24 due to a court order in Florida preventing him from traveling on the road. On the December 3 episode of Raw, Mr. Kennedy, who was feuding with Shawn Michaels at the time, said that he would speak to three individuals who knew Michaels very well as part of a feud between him and Michaels. The three were imposters dressed as Razor Ramon, Diesel, and Jannetty. Along with a fake Michaels, they were all hit with sweet chin music by the real Michaels. The next week, on the 15th anniversary of Raw, Jannetty appeared along with Michaels in an interview. Michaels wanted to see what would happen when Kennedy fought the real Jannetty. In the end, he was defeated by Kennedy. On October 19, 2009, Jannetty made an appearance on Raw and losing in a match against The Miz. Chikara. On October 22, 2011, it was announced that Jannetty had signed with Chikara as a trainer and as a wrestler. His debut match for the promotion was booked for October 29 against Tursas, but the show was eventually cancelled. He then made his official debut on November 13 at high noon, Chikara's inaugural internet pay-per-view, by accompanying the Young Bucks to the ring. Jannetty made his Chikara in-ring debut on August 12, 2012. When he teamed with Green Ant in a tag team match, where they were defeated by Los Ice Creams. Jannetty returned on September 16, 2012, when he and the 1-2-3 Kid won the annual tag team gauntlet match at the 2012 King of Trios. When Jannetty and the 1-2-3 Kid also defeated the Heartthrobs on November 18, they earned their third back-to-back win, and a future shot at the Chikara Campeonatos de Parigis. Jannetty and the 1-2-3 Kid received their title shot on December 2 at the Under the Hood Internet pay-per-view, where they were defeated by the defending champions, the Young Bucks. In wrestling, finishing moves, diving fist drop, rocker dropper/showstopper. Signature moves, atomic drop, back elbow, belly-to-back suplex, diving crossbody, dropkick, sometimes from the top rope, fist drop, hangman, sleeper hold, snap suplex, sunset flip, superbomb, superkick, swinging neckbreaker. Nicknames: The Rocker. Managers: Sensational Sherry. Championships and accomplishments: American Wrestling Association, AWA World Tag Team Championship a Euro with Shawn Michaels. Pro Wrestling Live, PWL Tag Team Championship a Euro with Mad Dog Morksh. Central States Wrestling, NWA Central States Heavyweight Championship, NWA Central States Tag Team Championship a Euro with Tommy Rogers, Bob Brown and Shawn Michaels, NWA Central States Television Championship. Continental Wrestling Association, AWA Southern Tag Team Championship a Euro with Shawn Michaels. Deutsche Wrestling Alliance, DWA World Heavyweight Championship. Dynamic Wrestling Alliance, DWA Internet Championship. Platinum Wrestling Worldwide, PWW Heavyweight Championship. Midwest Territorial Wrestling, MTW Heavyweight Championship. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, PWI ranked him number 13 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1993, PWI ranked him number 33 of the top 100 tag teams of the PWI years with Shawn Michaels in 2003, PWI Match of the Year vs. Shawn Michaels on Monday Night Raw on May 17. UWA Elite, UWA Elite I Championship. Worldwide Wrestling Alliance, WWWA Intercontinental Championship. World Wrestling Federation, WWF Intercontinental Championship, WWF Tag Team Championship a Euro with the 1-2-3 Kid. Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards, Tag Team of the Year with Shawn Michaels. References. External links. Chikara profile.